What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a brand new Liverpool transfer news video. And the Bild, the German newspaper, is reporting that Liverpool are looking to sign the Frankfurt centre-back, who is an absolute beast, one of the quickest centre-backs in Europe, the 22-year-old Ecuadorian Willian Pacho, and Liverpool are singling him out as the centre-back to replace Joel Matip potentially in the summer transfer window. And Neil Jones, who is a Liverpool-based journalist, and he is basically very well connected to Liverpool Football Club themselves. He has very good connections because every time Liverpool want the news out there, Neil Jones is getting briefed. And Neil Jones is confirming that Liverpool's interest in the Ecuadorian Willian Pacho is real, and there is a substance in these links. So this Ecuadorian player is playing from Frankfurt, and the Bild newspaper is reporting that Liverpool might consider loaning Pacho back to Frankfurt if they think that he needs a little bit more time on his development. But we basically want to get him for his market value, which is well above the 30 million euro mark that Transfermarkt is reporting. Frankfurt, of course, don't want to sell him because they just signed him last summer. He has another 4 years left on his contract, and he has a valuation of around 50 million euros, which is around 43 million pounds. I think that would be a little bit too overpriced for a player this young and this raw. But remember that Konate, we signed from Leipzig, was also a very young, promising player that we signed for not that much money, like 35 million, 37 million, something like that. And Konate turned out to be an absolute beast, but he's a little bit injury prone. And Frankfurt are already preparing for Pacho's departure, and they view RSF Köln's Julien Chabot and another player, Kurilakis, from the PAOK to be Pacho's replacements. So they want to sign one of them. And in his first season in Germany, Pacho has played every Bundesliga game except one, as Frankfurt are making a push for Europa League football. Once again, the German Bundesliga is very, very tight, very close. Literally like 6 or 7 teams are fighting for the last couple of European qualification spots. And Florian Plettenberg is reporting that Liverpool are still keen on Willian Pacho, and of course Frankfurt are listening to any interest for him, because Frankfurt of course can't afford to match Liverpool's wage offer in case they knock in with an offer. The Pacho's contract is valid until 2028. This is standard practice when a new player signs. They give him a 5-year contract. Having spent 1 year in the Bundesliga, he still has 4 years left in his contract. And Sky Sports Germany is reporting that Frankfurt are asking for between 50 and 60 million euros, but maybe Liverpool can negotiate that down to around 35 million pounds, which would be around 45 million euros. And Liverpool not only have to think about how to replace Joel Matip, we also have to think about the long-term future of Virgil van Dijk, who only has 1 year left on his contract, and Liverpool want to sign a player or players in the centre-back area who long-term would be good enough to develop into Virgil van Dijk's successor. Right now, of course, Willian Pacho is still a young player. His aerial duel success rate is only 56% compared to Virgil van Dijk's 76%. Of course, Willian Pacho at 22 years old won't be half as good as Virgil van Dijk is in his prime right now. What is encouraging is that Frankfurt has the 6th best defensive record in the Bundesliga, and Willian Pacho is an ever-present in the Frankfurt team, so he has done plenty of solid defending this season. Frankfurt's sporting director Markus Krosche said this about the player: Willian is a very clever player who listens well and he's quick in it to implement what is asked of him. His speed and strength in the tackle are what make him stand out. Liverpool don't usually sign players who have 4 years left on their contracts, because usually you have to overpay for these players, but the reported price would not put Liverpool off Pacho if they value him as a target that Liverpool should go for instead of other centre-backs. He looks good enough for Liverpool to be monitoring him at this stage of his career, definitely. And we have a few defenders on our shortlist: Gonzalo Inacio, Piero Hincapi of Leverkusen, Inacio of Sporting, Willian Pacho of Frankfurt as well. And Will Lancaster, another journalist, is reporting that Liverpool might consider loaning back Willian Pacho to Frankfurt if they can get maybe another fullback in, because then we could, if for example we sign Gertrudia from Feyenoord, we could put Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield, we could put Joe Gomez as centre back, and then we would have Van Dijk, Konate, Kwanzaa, Joe Gomez, and potentially even Sepp van den Berg, the future is still up in the air. Van den Berg had a brilliant season at Mainz. I'm just not 100% sure that he's good enough for Liverpool, but maybe as a backup centre-back he would be good enough, and maybe it's worth giving him one season to show how good he is. And then we would have already 4 or 5 centre-backs at the club, and that way we could loan Willian Pacho back to Frankfurt for one more season, which means he would play every game. Of course, if he comes in at Liverpool at 22 years old, he won't get that many games as he would get at Frankfurt, because he wouldn't get ahead of Konate or Van Dijk. And Kwanzaa is also showing signs of improvement. Kwanzaa is only 21 years old, but he already shows a lot of great qualities that could become world class in the future. What is 100% certain is that Liverpool are looking to sign a centre-back in the summer, and that's why I'm making all these videos about different transfer targets, because I want you guys to know as much about the different players and what they could bring to Liverpool and where the rumors are at the moment, because I want you guys to be informed. So if you enjoy these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here. So Willian Pacho went from Antwerp to Frankfurt, and he has the most experiences for Frankfurt this season with 41 games in all competitions. And the Frankfurt coach said that Willian Pacho is doing a great job this season. He's getting better all the time as the season progresses. He's really reliable and he has world-class potential. And Frankfurt could still finish in a 6th place in the Bundesliga, which would qualify them for the Europa League. But even 7th place qualifies for Europe in the Bundesliga, and potentially even 8th place if Leverkusen win the German Cup, because then, because the Bundesliga qualified, the top 5 qualifies for the Champions League, then 6th and 7th place would qualify for the Europa League if Leverkusen win the German Cup, and then even 8th place. So Frankfurt basically can still qualify if they finish the season strong. And Willian Pacho also is an Ecuadorian international, and we already have a really good South American contingent: McAllister, Argentina World Cup winner, Darwin Núñez from Uruguay, Alisson from Brazil, and Willian Pacho would be our Ecuadorian player. He already played 10 games for the Ecuador national team, scoring 2 goals in the process. He's 187 centimeters tall, so he's a pretty robust, very tall player. He started off with the famous Independiente Ecuadorian team. They have an amazing youth academy. They developed Moises Caicedo, for example, and then he went to Royal Antwerp for 5.5 million euros, which is a lot of money for an Ecuadorian club. And then he went to Frankfurt for just 9 million euros. So Frankfurt would literally get a 5-time profit, 500% profit on Willian Pacho if they manage to sell him for something like 45 to 50 million euros. And I absolutely love the fact that he is not injury prone. I think that's very, very crucial. He already played 42 games. He pretty much plays every single game for Frankfurt. I think he only missed 1 game throughout the whole season with a small knock, and yes, he was rested for some Conference League games, but he was on the bench, so he was fit. He just didn't come on as a substitute because they wanted to rest him. And if he was at Antwerp last season, that means that he helped Antwerp win their first league title in something like 40 years, where Toby Alderweireld, the Antwerp youth academy player who went back there from Tottenham, helped score the winning goal. He actually scored the winning goal that won Antwerp the Belgian league title for the first time in a long time. What an awesome story that is. Other German newspapers are claiming that talks have already started between Frankfurt and Liverpool over the transfer of Willian Pacho, who of course is a very talented young player. It's just Liverpool need to figure out whether he's worth £40 million and also what they plan to do with him. Do they plan to sign him and let him spend another season on loan at Frankfurt, or do they bring him in straight away? Probably once the new manager Arne Slot comes in, they will need to discuss this with him as well. Chelsea player Levi Colwill, who we were linked with last summer, he's on Liverpool's shortlist as well, but Chelsea wouldn't sell to one of their direct rivals in the Premier League. They would only sell for a crazy amount of money, so Liverpool probably won't go after Colwill. Also, securing Kwanzaa to a new long-term deal is a smart move by Liverpool. The young defender has displayed confidence and experience beyond his years. He is not playing like a 21-year-old rookie Premier League centre-back. He's playing like he has already played 3-4 seasons in the Premier League. He has a huge future, but signing Willian Pacho also addresses the lack of balance and the lack of strength in depth within the squad, because when Matip is going, Konate is injury prone, Van Dijk is getting older, sometimes he gets injuries as well, and Gomez, his injury problems have been well documented. We can't have just Van Dijk and two other injury prone centre backs, and of course Kwanzaa is still young and somewhat inexperienced. Even though Kwanzaa has been great, you shouldn't rely on just Kwanzaa to play world class in every game, and that's the level that you need. You need to sign other players like Willian Pacho, who we can develop and grow into hopefully a very good, maybe even a world-class player. And what a sad ending to Joel Matip's career. On a free transfer from Schalke, he came in at Liverpool and he has been an absolute world-class player for many years. One of the best value for money signings alongside Sami Hyypiä, who also was a free transfer, free agent signing. And Willian Matip, but for his injury problems, has been one of the best centre-backs at Liverpool. He has won absolutely everything under Jurgen Klopp. And I think we missed his experience this season, definitely, but it's the right time to let him go. He's 31 years old, I think, and his contract runs out, and it's time for young, fresh players. Similar scenario with Thiago. We didn't sign Thiago as a young player. We signed him as a 29-year-old world-class midfielder who actually put in a man-of-the-match performance as Bayern Munich won the Champions League against PSG. We only signed him for 25 million, but his constant injury problems really hindered his impact. This season, I'm convinced that with a fully fit Thiago, Liverpool potentially would have won the Premier League title, because he's that good. And Jurgen Klopp was the driving force behind signing Thiago, because he wanted to change the dynamic of his midfield. Before signing Thiago, Liverpool relied on Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson for creativity, for getting assists to the strikers. But with Thiago, Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp wanted a more creative midfield, and I think that was the right avenue to go down on. But the honeymoon period didn't last long. After making his debut against Chelsea, Thiago got COVID, and then of course Richarlison, who got a red card for, I think, sliding in on Thiago. He suffered a knee injury which kept him out for nearly 3 months. So he only played a few games and then he got injured straight away. And by the time Thiago was available again, Liverpool were hit with that centre-back injury crisis, where we had 3 centre-backs and all 3 got long-term injuries, and that was a horrendous season where we finished in 3rd place after winning 7 of the last 8 games or something like that. But then Liverpool, Thiago came back and was instrumental in Liverpool getting 3rd place. And even in the 21-22 season, where Liverpool were chasing the quadruple, Thiago actually played 39 times, but he had a calf injury as well as thigh injuries and Achilles problems, and this season the hip injury has kept him out for so long. Liverpool rushed him back. He played 5 minutes against Arsenal, and then he got injured again as a substitute in 5 minutes. I couldn't believe it, and he has missed basically the whole season apart from that 5-minute cameo. So that was an absolute disaster for Thiago. Thiago also got injured in the 2022 League Cup final warm-up, and he was actually crying because yes, Liverpool won the trophy, but Thiago was desperate to play in that final. He did play the 120 minutes of the FA Cup final, and he scored in the penalty shootout, so he helped Liverpool win some trophies at least. And Thiago almost missed the Champions League final as well, but the delayed kickoff helped him start, and he was instrumental in Liverpool playing Real Madrid off the park. We just had no luck with the chances. Courtois saved everything, and Thiago was so close to winning the Champions League with Liverpool. I still think that we should have won that Champions League final against Real Madrid. At the start of last season, he put his hamstring, and then, you know, the regular hip issues came forward, the hip injury that kept him out for the whole of this season. And last season, when he did play, he was part of a really struggling Liverpool midfield with Henderson way past his best, Fabinho also past his best, and yeah, Thiago really struggled because there was just no legs next to him. That's why I was so excited to watch Thiago this season, because now finally we have runners around him. We have Alexis McAllister and Szoboszlai, two very energetic midfielders, and even Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones are pretty good runners, and they have youthful energy, and Thiago would have been an absolutely brilliant midfielder to have this season, but sadly the injuries put an end to his Liverpool career. And it's a similar story to Naby Keita, even though Thiago was 3 times or 4 times the player that Naby Keita is. Naby Keita, when he left Liverpool, I always wondered what would have happened if he was fit more often, if he would have been able to stay fit more often. The same scenario with Thiago as well. He was never the most durable player, but since he established himself at Barcelona, he always played around 25 to 30 games in most seasons. Yes, he had 2 injury-plagued seasons at Bayern Munich, but he was always like available for at least 50 to 60% of the games. He had 1 season at Bayern where he was available for just 41%, and 1 season where he was available for just 9% of the games. I mean, he played just 9% of the minutes played by Bayern Munich. At Liverpool, in his first season, he played 54% of the minutes, second season 45%, last season 36%, and then, of course, massive drop-off, 0.2% of minutes played this season. It's just a sad ending to a brilliant player at Liverpool, and I will miss him, even though we didn't see him that much. He only played here for 3 full seasons. I will miss him because he was an absolute joy to watch. And that's it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.